Hello everyone and welcome to VIASPORT. Today we're on the set of Skate Canada BCYT section. I'm Ted Barton, the Executive Director of the BCYT section, also a consultant for VIASPORT. And today we're talking with Tara Harvey, a former national team member for Skate Canada, and Tara's involvement in production and in our initiative both at Skate Canada and at VIASPORT. Tara, thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
So, you know, we obviously worked together on this project a
Yes.
little bit, and when you first came into my office and we talked about you coming on board as production and working with us to learn everything, and we're not just talking about on camera, how did you feel about all that?
Yeah, well, at first, obviously, I was fresh out of the competitive season of figure skating, and I really didn't know what my next step was. And then when I sat down with you, you know, I didn't really know what I was getting into, but I was open to it, to, you know, try this, have this new experience, and also still be involved in my sport, to give back to my sport. So.
Well, you took to it right away. I mean, we had Tara not only do on camera, as some of our samples will show, but we also had Tara start to learn how to edit video. You know, we bought her a Mac computer and got her involved in that, and you just took off on that. I mean, how do you like the editing side as well as being on camera?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's something that I've never done before, but I've found my creative side that I used to, you know, express on the ice in the editing of videos and everything. You know, I still get to have fun with that, and my artistic side can come out. So it's a good fit for me. I think I've really been having fun with it.
What type of feedback have you had from skaters in regards to not only your participation, but in regards to the live streaming and the interviews that we've done? What type of feedback have you had from the skating perspective?
Everyone seems to think it's great so far. It's really given our sport way more profile than it's ever had before at this amateur level. It's, you know, the fans also love it as well. They love to be able to see the young developing skaters, you know, because there's so much talent that doesn't usually get seen at this level. So everybody's been really enjoying it so far.
Now, as an athlete, especially in skating, you arrive at the rink and you have to work very hard, obviously, and I don't mean that, but it's quite a surprise to see all the behind the scenes and all the work that goes into it.
Oh,
Was that
definitely.
a shock for you?
A huge shock. I never knew how much work goes into putting on a competition, because I would just show up at the events, skate, do my thing, and leave. But there is so many weeks of preparation, hours when you actually get to the event. It's unbelievable how hard everybody works. So, you know, I really appreciate now what everybody has done for me throughout my skating career. It's really quite amazing.
Now, you've had to do those long days as well, sometimes
Yes.
14, 16-hour days, and pulling lines from one rink to the other. And
Yeah.
you're a princess, let's face it. She was an ice dancer. She was a pure princess. But, Tara, you have, you know, got engaged in this to the deepest level, have done everything. Now, you've
Yeah.
been on the camera. You've been in front of the camera.
Yeah.
You've run the TriCaster. You've edited videos. You've done pretty much everything. What do you like to do most?
Oh, well, I love being in front of the camera because I think I'm a performer. I used to love being in front of a crowd on the ice, so I really enjoy that. I like being under pressure, I think. But I've also really enjoyed editing videos and being a part of the production. So really, everything has its own, you know.
What's the hardest job?
The hardest job is the hours, the long hours at competitions, definitely.
But the camera editing, or on camera, or what Jesse does behind the scenes?
I think behind the scenes, running the TriCaster, the broadcasting throughout the events, it's you know, tiny little details that can sometimes slip away from you that you really have to be on top of. You have to be really focused. So that is probably the hardest.
So what would you wanted to go in broadcasting, so
Yes.
What's your next stage? What do you know, you're obviously working with us, you better stay.
Yes.
What's your next stage in life?
Yeah, I'm planning on taking some schooling at BCIT to further develop my skills and knowledge. But obviously I still want to be involved because, you know, doing practical work and having this experience is the best education, I think. So.
Now, do you think this model, this integration, if you will, or transition from an athlete's life could work for with other sports as well?
Oh, absolutely. I think you know, a lot of athletes don't really have a plan when we get out of our sport. You know, you talk about it at different seminars and whatnot during your career, but when it actually happens, it's a huge change, and nobody's really prepared for it, I don't think. So this has been an absolutely, you know, amazing transition for me. I'm still being able to be a part of my sport, give back to the sport that I love, and I think every single athlete would feel the same way in their own sport. Definitely.
So this is a good cause for people to contribute to and develop a transition in an athlete's life. Broadcast is certainly something, they watch sports, and so they may want to be involved, maybe not in front of the camera like you like doing, but it could be behind the camera or production. So.
Definitely, yeah.
Well, Tara, thank you so much for coming in today. I know we've enjoyed it just as much as you have, and I can tell you from a sport perspective, it's fabulous to have our athletes continue in the sport, especially in a creative area. And this is really a communication tool. It's not just a television production or internet production. It's a communication tool that we will be using to a far greater extent than ever before in amateur sport around British Columbia and in fact Canada. So we hope this brought more information to you on this athlete transition of the stage of life into transitioning into what they do after they compete. Certainly one of the things here is in broadcasting. I'm Ted Barton with Skate Canada and VIASPORT.